Good evening, everyone. Before I start, I want to thank Lucy and everyone who's part of her team for making this event actually possible and achievable. So give her a round of applause. I think it's important that us as a community, we have safe spaces like this to discuss ideas, to be updated about developments of different organisations and the council. But most importantly, a space where the community can actually contribute to those developments. My name is Jermain Jackman. I was born and brought up, lived in Hackney all my life, all 25 years of it. And I've seen the good, the bad, and the changes of this borough, just like any other place in this country. But Hackney is unique. Hackney's got something about it. Hackney's got a sense of character. You know, when you see that logo, that Hackney logo, you have a strong sense of identity to that logo. But I think it's important that we face the facts that those traits are changing. Hackney is changing. And the young people that I speak to, when they talk about when they move around the borough, when they walk around Shoreditch and Dalston at night time, they don't feel like it's an area for them. So you can imagine when they see the logo of Hackney and have a strong identity, and when they leave the borough, they say, yeah, I'm from Hackney, and they say it proudly. Or when they walk around the borough, they don't feel like they can identify with the changes happening within the borough. And I think that's why the Young Futures was set up. And one of my principles is that how can the most marginalized voices, young people's voices, have a stake in our future, can contribute to our future, and build a better future. So the Young Futures Commission is very much that, looking at the future of Hackney and how young people can have a stake in that future. Over the last year, this was launched last year, May, and between May and December, I had spoken to over 5,000 young people in Hackney. That's a lie. Spoke to over 3,000 young people in Hackney, and I've received over 5,000 quotes from them. We asked them 3 simple questions. What do you like about Hackney? What are the issues that face you and your friends in Hackney? And if you were mayor of Hackney for a day, what would you change? We had different activities. We had a massive map of Hackney, and we gave them green and red stickers, and they can put up little dots around the areas that they didn't feel safe in or the areas that they liked. They were talking about the activities that they had. And we had a whole host of rich content talking about the lived experiences of young people. And what do we do with that? We worked with Loughborough University to turn that into thematic, and we did some thematic analysis on that, and we turned it into themes. And some of those themes are obviously crime and safety, but I was really conscious that I didn't want to turn the Young Futures Commission into a knife crime commission. Yeah. And there were other issues that affect young people. And I think it's important to note that only under 1% of the young people in Hackney actually participate in serious youth violence, and 99% of them are actually active, positive young people doing great things in the community. And it's just unfortunate that the media can't really cover that. So what do we do with all that information? We turn it into themes: crime and safety, education, employment and training, the physical environment, places, spaces and activities. So you have a whole host of themes that young people were talking about. And it's all about their future. It's all about how do we future-proof Hackney? How do they get to shape Hackney? When we talk about gentrification, how can we have a youth panel in terms of planning and housing departments? So housing needs to be approved by young people. Well, they need to have a green space for young people to be able to use that space. This was born out of a project that I did with Islington Council called the Fair Futures Commission. And it was all about how do we create a fairer society for our children and young people. And what we had seen is that under austerity and under this Tory government, that the cost of living has increased, and it's becoming very difficult, not only for the lower income families, but for middle class families too living in Islington. Islington has one of the highest child poverty rates in the country. So they set up the Fair Futures Commission on how to create a fairer society. And some of the recommendations that came out of that were no ball game signs on estates. Something so simple. But what young people were saying was that they didn't feel welcome in their own community by seeing a no ball game sign. They felt like we couldn't even if we weren't playing football, we couldn't even chill around here. Young people were talking about how they don't feel prepared for the future world of work. So one of my recommendations out of that report was every single student, by the time they're 16, needs to have at least 100 hours of experience in the world of work. So those were groundbreaking achievements that we were able to achieve in Islington, and the empowering process that, that young people felt and young people were a part of in Islington. And I intend to do the same thing here in Hackney with the groundbreaking recommendations that are set to come out of those themes and those working groups that Deputy Mayor Antoinette Bramble, who should be on our way shortly. But for me, it's all about embedding and amplifying marginalised voices, in this case, young people, on all levels of our council, from housing to crime. And if we really check it, young people are the future employers. They are future councillors and mayors and community activists. So we need to equip them with the skills and empower them to be around the decision-making table, so we can propel ourselves and prepare for the future. So what does this all mean when I talk about the future? What does it mean for Labour? What does it mean for Hackney? And what does it mean for young people? In my opinion, it takes innovation and creative projects, such as the Young Black Men's Programme from Hackney Council and the Young Futures Commission as well, to encourage ideas, but also to tackle inequalities, like the great work that you guys are doing, to tackle the disparities in our community. There's no point us trying to create a utopia for the future when we have this mess here today. If we don't deal with the inequalities here today, you're going to see the same inequalities in the future. Investment in our education, employment and training, the fourth industrial revolution, ensuring that we invest in the future world of work and equipping our young people for that. And finally, ensuring that we have a fairer, better and cleaner society. There's no point us creating policies for the future if there's no future to work towards. So let's ensure that we can be brave and bold with our policies for a greener society, a cleaner society, lower our carbon emissions, and ensure that we have and breathe healthy air. Sorry, I'll stop now.